Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Bucks County. Your host, Matt Freedman. Your other host, what's your name again?
Dustin Napoli.
Dustin Napoli. There you go. We have two amazing guys with us today. Philanthropists, guys that give back. They have an amazing charity and amazing foundation we're going to chat a little bit about. We have Josh and Jeff. Jeff, what's happening, guys? How we doing?
Thank you for having us.
Round of applause here.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Why not? You deserve it. You got out of bed. You're here. Evan Walton's still asleep. So,
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, we're excited to be here. I was thinking on the way over, I've probably consumed maybe like 10,000 podcasts. Never actually got to participate in one. So what an exciting moment. So thanks for having us.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so you guys have, a couple amazing things going on. Obviously, Live Like Brent is an amazing foundation that you guys both represent. We'll dive into that. You do a really cool event at Montage Mountain in February, called Carve for Cancer that you've been doing for a long time. Doylestown, right? Josh, you in Doylestown as well?
I'm in Philly.
Oh, you're in Philly?
Yeah, Fishtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We won't hold that against him. That's fine.
No.
Yeah, for all the
I ventured
listeners.
up 95 without dying. So, I think that's a real plus.
That is
That is.
literally that almost happened to me a month ago.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were playing a show at the Link for the Eagles, and my tire blew out. The wheel fell off my truck, and I almost did actually not make it.
You've been there. I mean, I was in a horrible wreck on 95 as well. I think everybody who drives on 95
Yeah,
is.
I blew out like all my
experienced.
tires on there too before. Yeah. No shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So thanks to 95 for providing your
The risk we
access.
take for the podcast.
Exactly.
Right.
Awesome. So, Jeff, I'll start with you, man. So
Sure,
tell us a story. We go back a couple of years. We met, through mutual connections. We stopped by your house at the Doylestown Parade last year with my kids. So tell us your story, man. How'd you get involved with the foundation and give us the story?
Well, thanks. Appreciate that opportunity. Yeah, it's been. First of all, I just got to say it's been such a fun ride being a part of Live Like Brent Foundation. And before Live Like Brent, I had been involved in a partner with several different companies, and one of them was down in Philadelphia. We had a franchise called Wahoo's Fish Tacos, which was down. Yeah, it was a great place. We had a lot of fun with it. And that was really like kind of the epicenter of meeting Brent. One day I was down at the restaurant and Brent walked in, and he was an ambassador for the the LLS, which is a Lymphoma Leukemia Society. Now it's rebranded to Blood Union. But he was an ambassador, and he was going through his third episode of blood cancer.
Wow.
And I'm going to let Josh really talk about Brent, because Brent was just an amazing human being, and Josh had a great relationship with him growing up. I met him kind of at the tail end of his life, and immediately when I met him, it sparked, like, this is someone you can get behind. This is someone who really was passionate, and he had the wherewithal to understand that he had an amazing network of people that were supporting him, from not only just mentally, but financially and spiritually. And when you're going through cancer, if you know anyone who's going through cancer, their spirit means so much in their battle.
Yeah.
And so to see this guy who clearly was suffering, but was an ambassador for LLS, and that meant he had to go out and raise money. And here he was asking us, because his whole concept of Carve for Cancer, which is kind of this, snowboarding music festival, he saw that resonate in Wahoo's. That's basically what we were. We were kind of like, we had all the surfboards, skateboards, snowboards plastered all over the restaurant and the bar area. We did a lot of community outreach, and it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life.
Wow.
Him walking in, just seeing the bigger picture, how you can give back, how you can pay it forward. His specific diagnosis was his blood cancer. I had lost my dad almost about 15 years ago to the same disease. So it resonated really well as far as, not only is this like a North Star for me to work with helping Brent and his mission, but more importantly, it kept my dad in my heart. And it was a great way of saying, you know what? You can kill two birds with one stone with this one.
No kidding.
So
What an amazing serendipitous moment, or otherwise, whoever you believe in.
Yeah.
Just for that to have that specific thing, that specific tie with the branding, and then be that deeply rooted that it was the same kind of cancer. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and one of the things that happened out of that was meeting Josh, and Josh was steadfast and a huge supporter of Brent from day one, but as well as his family, and it's been just an amazing journey, and that was going back to 2016.
Yeah,
2016.
Wow.
So it's been a while. It's been a journey, and I'm sure Josh could tell us a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. I remember, when Brent came back and said, like, dude, I found the spot. Like, I found the spot. Like, I walked in, I talked to Jeff. He owns this awesome place. They got snowboards and skateboards all over the walls. It's totally our vibe. And the guy was like, yeah, well, you can do anything here. we're like, what? So we had this, we were so lucky to have that in the early days of like spinning up this charity and, to have a sponsor and a supporter and a place that we could like bring people and raise money. It was like, it was that, you say like these things happening for a reason, like this foundation, I don't care what you believe in, like it's always these like little things that are just like falling perfectly in place. And you're like, okay, what's
really going on here?
Yeah. It's really neat. My experience with getting involved was, growing up, me and Brent went to like rival high schools.
Okay.
And we're about the same age, and we kind of, we crossed paths probably a million times, and we had some friends in common, and went about our lives. And after college, this gives you an idea of like what Brent was like, because this is a weird story, but he called. I get this phone call, right? Don't know the number. Pick it up. It's like, yo, bro, what's going on? This is Brent Evans. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, what's going on, bro? He's like, yeah, we don't really know each other that well, and but we got like tons of friends in common, and you're living in Philly now. I'm living in Philly. Like, we should be hanging out. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, all right.
Wow.
Like, that's a weird thing to do.
Call first date,
Yeah,
just a
call
bro date.
first date with a bro date. And so we end up hanging out, and I'm like, oh, this guy's the man. Like, he's the coolest dude I know. And, that was, I don't know how many years ago, and we just started hanging out all the time, and we became like really good friends. He introduced me to his friend group and my friend group, and we had this like, cool little like bromance going on. And and then at some point he's like, by the way, I have this charity, and we're trying to turn it into something. He's like, would you like join me? Do you want to like help me make it into something? And I'm like, for me, I'd never even, I hate to say it, I've never even considered like joining a charity or being philanthropic. I was like worried about my own problems, right? And he introduced me to this thing, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is incredible, like what you're trying to build. And I connected with it right away, and I was like, of course, this like guy that I think is like really cool and like doing all these cool things asked me to be involved. I'm like, why me? That's awesome. Like, let's do it.
It's really cool.
And jumped in full force.
What was the original vision that Brent, not only for the charity, but just like, it seems like he had a story to tell. He was going through something. He reached out to you, who was like a friend just through, you were probably in rival snowboard gangs. I get that growing up on the mountain. But what was the vision that he kind of, not pitched to you, but that he explained?
Yeah, that's a cool question, because it was so kind of up in the air in the beginning, because like Jeff said, he was really raising money in the early days just for LLS, because that was a charity that was connected to blood cancer. He went through blood cancer. He wanted to just, his whole thing is like, how do I help other people who are going through blood cancer? I want to make a difference. I don't know how to do it. And his, original idea was this Carve for Cancer, which was, combining all the things that he loved, which was snowboarding, live music, partying on the mountain, like that entire vibe.
Yep.
So he put that together, and I think right away he was like, oh wow, I got something here. And he had something because everybody loved Brent. I mean, I always try to explain it as like everybody had a Brent in their life. Like,
that's
cool.
Yeah.
Right? That guy who's like, oh man, everybody loves him. He's like the life of the party. I know all these people just because of him. Dustin, are you guilty?
You got a little Brent. You're a little Brent.
You got a little Brent? Yeah, that's awesome. So like, those are the coolest people. So like, I'm sure you and Brent would have gotten along like really well. And so he was, so he had something like right away. And I think, his vision was, how do I help as many people as possible? Like, I don't think we fully fleshed out how that was going to work. The one thing we knew was early on was, LLS is a great foundation, and, they do great work, but we wanted to control our own destiny, and we wanted to, we wanted to do it in a way where we weren't going to have tons of overhead. We weren't going to have this like giant bureaucracy. It was, the money in was going to go to the people who needed it.
Wow.
Right. And we're going to try and make that like the cornerstone of what we did. And that is what we did. And again, like really lucky to find someone like Jeff later on to really take us to the next level, because we had this really great foundation and we were going in the right direction. But, I think we needed someone with, Jeff's expertise and his connections and his, all the things that he brought to the table to really push us in this new direction. And it's been, it's been Brent's mission all along. And we think about that all the time.
What's amazing about that is him having gone through it himself, but also, just doing what he can to raise money for, LLS at that time. There's a really cool quote that I heard. Actually, someone, I forget who it was, maybe David Osikinen, who had, when we were talking to him, it's kind of about legacy, and a lot of people think of legacy as, I want my name on buildings and I want my name on stuff. But the way he framed it was, it's more about what you can create that can serve and add value to other people that you can leave behind as in remembrance of you.
Oh, cool.
And it sounds like, with Brent, whether he knew it or not at the time, he was creating something that could add value and help other people, even in the absence of him being here, that you could sort of pass along.
Yeah. It's interesting too, you say that, because I remember early on because we were just this like fundraiser, right? Essentially, Carve for Cancer was a fundraiser for LLS. And then, we said, okay, well, if we're going to control our own destiny, we got to become a nonprofit ourselves. All right. So what do we name the nonprofit? Right. It was like, and it wasn't Live Like Brent Foundation that we started off at, and I remember having that conversation with him of like, should we call it like the Brent Evans Foundation? Like it's all about you, man. Like you're the man. He's like, no, he's like, I appreciate that, but it's not about me. Like let's call it Carve for Cancer Incorporated.
Okay.
And where I'm like,
Carve being snowboarding.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
And so that was the direction we went. And it wasn't until after he passed, he was 33 when he passed in 2017, that we kind of took a step back, and I was like, I think everybody who was involved, we were kind of like, let's call it the Live Like Brent Foundation, right? Like this is what it's all about. It is Brent. He's no longer with us. I want to make sure that he's in everything we do. Like every decision we make, literally, we think about it where it's like, is this aligned? Like, are we doing a Brent-like thing here? Like, are we still, going in the right direction? And I think that's kind of how it all evolved.
That's amazing, man. And Josh, what you were saying about Jeff, kind of like, having the big picture vision, connections, network, and, where do you not fit in? Obviously, you're a core foundational member of this thing, but what was your vision to take it from what it was with Josh and Brent to sort of amplify it and get the word out there?
That's a great question. I still remember the first meeting we had with all the volunteers. Remember that? It was just after COVID.
At Wahoo's.
Yeah, at Wahoo's, right? And I challenged all of them to think bigger, because the reality is that, Josh included, like it's a dynamic group of really smart, energetic people. And everyone was very focused on the mission, and everyone was very much tied to Brent. It was now thinking about what is the next step, like where does this go? And we had to do some soul searching from a perspective of we could talk about it, is that there's different ways to make an impact in the community. You could go down the research route, where you're finding a specific cause or a specific hospital or researchers that need funds, and you can go down that path and you can donate money there. That is an excellent choice. But we stepped back and said, you know what, we think that's there's a lot of value going that way, but we felt like we wanted to connect directly with the patients. And that's where we did a little bit of a pivot, right? We were working at that point maybe with University of Washington.
Yeah, there was a doctor at University of Washington that was studying the same disease, the same form of blood cancer that Brent passed from. So that was obviously very tied in, but yeah, I mean the research is tough. Research it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, and I still would say to people, it's a great avenue to donate to. They do wonderful things with research, but the way we were looking at it, we wanted to see more of a direct impact in the local community. So that's where we did a little bit of a pivot. We said, you know what, how do we start partnering with hospitals where we're creating what's called a comfort fund, right? Essentially, we're allowing social workers on behalf of Live Like Brent who understand truly what the patient's needs are and their financial situations.
Okay.
Where they can assist through our comfort fund to help pay for any life expenses
Wow. Okay.
for those patients.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing to me as someone who knows virtually zero, about fundraising nonprofits. But I always wondered that, like, if he and I wanted to start something, we play a lot and give back to a lot of charities, whether it's monetary donation. We play a lot of shows for like Folds of Honor and a lot of others. I always wondered sort of the mechanics of how that works and what are the sort of vectors of the people that you need involved. And I'd never heard of a comfort fund. Is that something that's typical, or is that something you stumbled upon when you were putting it together?
It is somewhat new. I mean, clearly there are funds within hospitals. I think how we're approaching it is, and we can share more about our kind of vision because we've introduced now technology into that fund as well, and talk a little bit about how that's complementing it. But I think it's an undervalued proposition that's out there in the healthcare world. I think there's nonprofits, if they had a better understanding of the impact of comfort funds, I think that you would see the growth of comfort funds happening down the road dramatically, because it's there's a lot of different benefits to a nonprofit on why you would like to do a comfort fund, because there's a feedback loop of reporting. We receive from the hospitals like actual patient stories and demographics, knowing exactly how those dollars were spent. And to us, that's, at the end of the day, we can go out and raise money, but if we don't have the results, if we don't understand how those dollars actually impacted a patient, then it's almost you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Correct.
Right? Just to give a check doesn't mean that the check is being spent in the most deserving way.
Yeah, and it from the sense that I get from you guys, from the ultimate vision, like Brent wouldn't want it any other way than the way you guys are doing it. Like the immediate feedback loop, it's all about creating connection for me is what it sounds like, and the immediate feedback loop of like, hey, this fund with these dollars from this event that was our vision was able to directly impact someone feeling really good about a terrible part of their life.
Yeah, think about it all the time too. Of like what you can't help but ask yourself like, what would Brent think about where we're at right now? And I mean, I couldn't be more positive that he would just be blown away and so stoked that
awesome.
we've figured this out and are doing it this way. And Jeff talks about this technology. I mean, it is like we're literally getting messages on our phone of, okay, another patient needs this, that, the other thing. This is their story. They're going through this hard time. Can we give them $250 from the fund? Approve. Boom. It's ready to be spent. I mean, I think we're doing something that very few charities in probably the world are doing. And it's immediate. It's immediate.
Yeah,
the direct impact, the direct feedback. I mean, it's like, you can see me getting like a little fired up about it. Cause I think it's just an amazing little process that we've created.
So give me an example, like, fill in the blank in that Mad Libs that you just gave me, patient X needs X to feel comfortable. Like, what's an example of something that it's funded?
Oh man, I could give you so many. I'll tell you, a lot of them are, well, here, I'll give you a real life one. This is a unique one. A lot of it's like utilities, a lot of it's, wanted a card to go get food at the grocery store. So we give them like a grocery card store, prepaid card, stuff like that. Utilities, lodging, things like that are the common ones. But I'll give you an interesting one. So we had a message come through. Elderly couple, husband ends up with blood cancer. They are foster parents to, I can't remember how many kids. It was like a bunch of kids.
It was
like
their grandchildren, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, was it grandchildren, not foster kids?
It was. Go ahead.
Sorry. Anyway, so they had these. It's okay. No, so they had these children, right, that they were caring for, right? I think it was like 3 or 4 kids. Blood cancer. Boom. Life turned upside down. All the out-of-pocket, right? The people don't understand. I mean, it's not just like, you've seen it before. You have insurance. Okay, it covers this, it covers that. But blood cancer or cancer in general, right? Like that's a different world.
Yeah.
You're out of work. Maybe you have a caregiver, like a wife, a husband, daughter, brother, whatever. they're out of work because they're taking care of you. So, you know, your finances get totally flipped upside down. So this family, right, all of a sudden, you know, their lives are flipped upside down and it's Christmas time. And all these kids are devastated by the diagnosis. And now they're going to have probably the worst Christmas of their lives. And the social workers, which are our like little angels, right? They reach out to us and they go, you know, hey, this is the situation. We know it's a little bit out of the ordinary. Could we get gifts for the kids for this Christmas? And we're like, hell yeah.
Approve.
Hell yeah. Like, go do it. Buy the gifts. Like
Santa
that.
stamp.
Like, if you want anything that's more aligned with our mission, try and find it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we
yeah.
want to provide hope and care and like comfort. And man, that was such a cool example of
That
it.
is so cool. How long ago was that?
That was a couple years ago.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it might have been like 2 years ago. Yeah. But yeah, we get them all the time. Like we just started a partnership with Chop, and now we're getting like these children's stories, which are like, oh my God, you know, like just tearing at the heartstrings.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's like, you know, these, and again, it's the same thing where it's like, okay, you know, your kid got blood cancer. Like, okay, worst thing you could ever imagine hearing.
100%, yes.
And then, well, it's not like you just keep working and you go about your day. No, you got to take them back and forth to appointments. You're not bringing in income. And now you got, I mean, we just have one the other day, you know, utilities are piling up, you know, we can't keep up. We can't make ends meet. And then we have this fund like sitting there and it's like almost instantaneous support for them. And it's like, you know, we're making such an amazing difference, and it's freeing up money that, you know, they can go and buy food and they can, you know, live a little bit more comfortably.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
And that's why our partnerships with the almost 11 hospitals that we have, and to touch upon that, each hospital has its own comfort fund. And we basically replenish that fund as it's dispersed. So the mindset was, instead of patients coming directly to us, we're not doctors.
Yeah.
We don't understand what their true needs are. Partnering with Doylestown Hospital and others in the greater Pennsylvania area, it really allowed us to leverage the social workers to be that buffer, to let them vet the patients, let them understand how the dollars can be used in the most effective way. So with those relationships and this technology that we utilize, all of this information, any of these patient requests that come through, we now have all the data. We understand what's happening. We're not waiting for 3 months, 6 months, a year to get that information from the hospital. It can be very actionable. It helps us to understand which hospitals are spending money a little faster than others. How do we go out there and do specific events or recruitment of donations within that footprint of the hospital that will ultimately affect more patients down the road? So, and the great part of it, as Josh mentioned, the payment structure is a virtual credit card. So as soon as we hit submit, the social workers submit something to us and we approve, automatically they have a virtual credit card that can just copy and paste the actual numbers, go to the third party, because the money never goes directly to the patient. We're always paying the third party for the service, which is then benefiting the patient.
Gotcha.
So it's one more layer in our process to making sure that what is being asked of us is actually being delivered, because then we see those receipts coming back from the third party.
And there's a direct feedback
our
loop
system.
with
Exactly. And in this day and age, there's so many people that want to donate, but they also want to feel good about how they're donating, how it's making an impact, and is there an audit trail there behind it as well.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's kind of what we've been working on these past few years, and it's really trying to create something that's scalable, where yes, we're focused on Pennsylvania today. We just need to think bigger again. You know, we're at that stage again, thinking through what is that next step for Live Like Brent, because our ultimate KPI is really about how many patients we impact. Yes, it's great to raise the money, but if we're not helping patients, then
what good is it?
what's the measure?
Right.
Right. So
talk to me a little bit about the technology, because I know it really in any fundraising effort, you know, like to strip away any friction between, you know, the donator and the donatee, a terrible word, but like it seems like you guys are just removing any of the red tape, the goofiness, the like, hey, it's going into this fund and then it's going to be approved by this corporate, entity and it has to go over to this. It's like you were going direct to consumer pretty much with this. And the technology seems like a big part of that. Is that something you guys developed or is it something that you're using that's like off the shelf, or tell me about that?
We retrofitted a expense system that was out there in the marketplace.
Okay.
We retrofitted it to be unique to our needs.
Nice.
And it's been an amazing process of learning how to use it most effectively for this specific, business case.
Yeah, it's and again, Jeff, as always, is underselling himself. I mean, this was his idea of, because one of our biggest problems, right, is as a charity is we had, we're taking in donations, we're raising money. That's, that's always the challenge, right? That's what takes up a lot of our time. And then we're trying to have this big impact, right? And by writing a big check to each of our hospitals, it's great. That money's being spent, but if that money maybe there's not a huge need at ABC Hospital and now they have a big check sitting there that could be utilized at another hospital.
100%.
This allowed us to really do like this real-time need deployment of funds. So it really changed the game. And when we start talking about, expansion and getting, our big vision, which is how do you get a comfort fund at every single hospital in America? Well, that's what does it, because now we can, predict our, how much money we're giving out. We can make sure that only hospitals that are actually using the money have the money, right? And they have it in real time. And if there's money left over, boom, find another hospital and expand to another hospital and help more patients so that KPI keeps ticking up.
That's amazing. So 11 hospitals today?
Correct.
You said?
Yep.
How many overall patients have we helped? Do you know?
Good question.
Yeah, so we're easily,
Not to put you on the spot.
No,
but I'm
not
really
at
curious.
all.
Question,
Not at
yeah.
all. Well, so remember, when we say patient, a lot of times it's the families as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you were to look at probably direct patients, we're well north of 1,500 patients.
Wow,
We're probably
really?
closer to 2,000 patients. And if you kind of extrapolate that out to the families as well, that number really increases.
And that number is growing. I mean, we're really just scratching the surface of perfecting this model. And we're probably helping more patients now on a daily, monthly basis than, anywhere close to in the past.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's hard to fathom unless you've gone through it either yourself or had a family member who's been afflicted with it or any kind of cancer in general. All the little mundane things that just rack up if you're not able to live your normal lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to even fathom other than you guys telling us the stories,
Right.
It's hard for me to fathom. You see these stories coming through. Again, I could go through these stories all one by one, but like we bought a wig for a woman who just like wanted to feel a little more confident. It's like these little things where you're like, I have all these other things. The way I look is like the last thing I, can afford. I'm going to buy something else. And, then you have this like little glimmer of hope where, something like the Like Brent Foundation can help out a little bit more. Yeah. So, I can't imagine it. I know just, again, with Brent and, the struggles he went through when he had it and, he had a absolute army behind him. He had an army of like friends and family and everybody that, bound together for him. But damn if everybody has that. I wish they did, but it's just not the case. Yeah. A lot of people just don't have that.
You hear stories from the social workers where a young mother basically had to choose. Was she going to be able to buy prescriptions or put food on the table for the kids? Like, how do you make a decision like that?
Yeah.
You can't. So there's like a big terminology, financial toxicity, and that's out there in the healthcare place. And it's really just, if you kind of think about these statistics, right? There's the number of people that have personal bankruptcy that's tied just to cancer. It's the number one leading cause for personal bankruptcy. It really kind of opens your eyes and makes you think about what is happening out there to these small families, to independent people, large families. It doesn't matter. Cancer changes your life. Right, and it changes the family around you as far as what they need to think about. I'll give a personal story. I remember when my dad first got diagnosed, I just started college. It was like I felt almost guilty that I was going to school because I knew what expenses were racking up, and I had to think like, should I really be here?
Yeah.
And it, I I was fortunate that my dad had great insurance at that time and things of that nature. But those are the things that I think about. You know, and my problem was so minuscule to what other families kind of go through on a day-to-day basis. So it's real, and it's that's why we're so energized and charged by, I think, the results that we're seeing right now, and the feedback from our partner hospitals. I cannot tell you how invigorating it is when they call us up and say, like, you know, you truly are like a safety net for us.
Yeah.
Because the social workers only have so many resources.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that they can kind of dip into our comfort fund when they're hearing this, you know, horrendous story, that's what makes us feel good.
Yeah, and that's an interesting part of this too. Is, you know, when we were, you know, workshopping this technology side, we were being very selfish and just thinking about how do we make the Live Like Brent Foundation, you know, function and, you know, deliver funds as quickly and easily as possible, help our patients. But the interesting part was when the hospitals started using it, and then the social workers came back and were like, God, this is awesome. This is so amazing. Like, I used to have to send an email to Joe, and Joe would email this guy, and then they would approve it, and then hopefully they would approve it, and then I'd get a check, and then the check would get cut, and then 3 weeks later, I'm like, they're like, now, you know, we have this card, and we're paying stuff basically instantly. Like, it's amazing for us. And the reporting side, we get to just give you the feedback right away. I don't have to do a report at the end of the month, and we're like, you know, I thought that was such a surprise. I didn't expect that they were going to love it as much as we loved it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And is that generally the feedback when you're meeting with a hospital? You know, I'm sure just getting the meeting is probably tough, but once you're in the room, it has to be an obvious.
It could go a couple different ways.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, you know, sometimes people are skeptical, but
Sure. Yeah, I understand.
You know, we had one or two early adopters from hospitals, and they have been great champions to basically go out there and be referrals. And now it's not even a question, because since we have all the major hospital names in the greater Philadelphia and, you know, Bucks County and up to Lehigh Valley, even going up to, you know, Scranton and Wilkes-Barre, I think we're more of a proven identity. We're a proven nonprofit as far as what our deliverables are. So it really, it's at this point, it's not about the technology. It's more about us finding better avenues of raising funds to bring on more hospitals. Yeah. And that's really the next step for us. You know, we're working on a program called Adopt a Hospital, where we're getting corporate sponsors that can be involved with helping on an annual basis to promote a specific hospital comfort fund. So if we can get, you know, folks around Doylestown, the local small businesses, bigger businesses, to adopt Doylestown Hospital, they can put money into that comfort fund. And the beauty of with this technology, we can give them the real-time reporting to show them how their dollars are actually making an impact within the local community.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of like 2.0 of where we're going. There's plenty other thoughts and ideas, and that's the hard part, because, you know, thinking up ideas is not hard. It's executing, right? And it's being really focused and know that you have, you know, you run this as a corporation, and it's not a hobby. It's not something that we're doing just to make us feel good. At this point, it has to be both. Yeah. Right. We have to look at this every day as, you know, what is our budget? How do we get volunteers involved? You know, what's the allocation of donations going to the different hospitals? It's really kind of transformed into I'd say a much bigger entity than either one of us would have imagined.
For sure.
Yeah, it's one of my questions, Jeff, for you was going to be any venture like this, whether it's a nonprofit, Wahoo's Tacos, rhythm, music, whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to apply a relentless entrepreneurial spirit to it. And more than just the spirit, the follow-up, the execution, and the follow-through is way more important than the idea. Everybody has ideas. Everybody, to a degree, is going to be creative and has a vision and a big dream. But until you put one foot in front of the other every day, consistently showing up with tenacity and grit, none of it matters, you know? And it seems like you guys have really applied, sort of, to your point, the corporate structural mentality plus the entrepreneurial drive, and the marriage of those two things is what's making you guys successful. You know, so what would your advice be to anyone, nonprofit, small business, startup, whatever, What are some of the things that you've learned throughout your career, this, Wahoo's, and any other venture?
Yeah, clearly there's been a lot of different ventures, and some have been great, and some have been not so great.
Like all of us, sure.
Yeah. And you sometimes you learn even more from the ones that are not so great. Right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
100%.
let's be realistic.
Oh, yeah.
So I think one of the biggest things is being transparent with your partners, your employees, with your volunteers, who, depending on what type of corporation you are. Transparency, culture, focus, and a feedback loop. Like those are all things that are really important. If an employee doesn't know how they're doing and they don't have that feedback loop, they're not going to be as engaged, right? If you're not creating a culture that people feel good about, it makes it very challenging for people to be excited to be there.
Yeah.
Right. And, transparency, like what is the mission? What is the direction? Did we achieve it? Did we not achieve it? Making sure people create ownership, right? They have to be part of the ownership. Because you know what, you can celebrate all the wins, but sometimes a loss and having a loss is a good way to kind of re-energize the troops and say, okay, is this the way we want our trajectory to be? And use that as a way to kind of ignite and create a new path forward.
Yeah.
So there's so many different philosophies. I think personally is if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you have to really take a look in the mirror and say, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
Right. I think that starts with not only a business owner, but every employee as well. We can get complacent very easily sometimes. And, sometimes at different stages of life, you have different energy levels to be able to commit. And yes, there are times when, it's a job and it's making sure your kids have food on the table and there's realities. But there's also times in your life when you need to, I think, recognize that your social life will always be there. Your friends will always be there.
Yep.
If you are in that entrepreneurial spirit and you have to hit that accelerator, you have to give it 200%. Mm-hmm. Nothing is 9 to 5. It's more about, creating realistic goals as well as some, big goals out there that you achieve, strive for, and making it happen. And then being realistic to yourself. Is it happening? Right? Because you could chase a dream and it might not be realistic as well. So
Yeah.
it's like, I think those are all just some of the things I've learned over the years. And I'm sure there's going to be many more lessons and potholes, down the road.
Yep. Just like 95, right?
Yeah, plenty of bottles.
So Josh, for you, if, I think Brent, we've lost about 8 years ago, 2017, you said?
17, yeah.
So if you were in the room right now and seeing this and seeing the vision come to life and everything you've done and almost, 1,500 some families that you've helped and affected, what do you think his response to all this would be right now?
Oh my God. Yeah. I think about it a lot. I'm getting a little choked up because, it's like, it's one of those things I know how stoked he would be. He would be beyond himself about where we've gotten, all the work we've done. I think sometimes I get I wish he could be here because I think it would have been, even more explosive growth and he would have brought in so many more amazing people. And I think about what could have been, which is tough sometimes.
Sure.
But I think he would be really, really proud. I think he'd be amazed that we kept at it. I think he'd be so over the moon to see Jeff is running it now. What the hell?
There's a proper business behind this. Some really
this
smart
is crazy.
people.
I can't believe Jeff was our big sponsor and supporter, and now he's running it, which is I think he'd be really overwhelmed by that. I think he'd be amazed to see that we're keeping at it and that we're finding different ways to really make an impact. And I guess just at the end of the day, I think he'd be really proud. And we think about it a lot, and I hope that's true, and I hope it continues to be true. I think we have a really interesting road ahead, and I think we're going to do a lot of good. And we'll continue to have him in mind everything we do.
Yeah, and the one thing we're really fortunate about is that Brent's family is 300% engaged, active, tremendous cheerleaders. They, as I say, his brother Ryan Evans Ryan is just, how do you explain Ryan? Ryan is
he's like a monster of a human being and the sweetest human being at the same time. Like if you walk past, you'd be like, okay, don't hurt me. And then you'd be like, oh my God, you're a sweet guy. You're gonna give me a big hug. That's great. I love you. He's the best.
He is so supportive, and the whole family, Karen, Ken, Rob, Amanda, I don't want to miss people's names. Yeah. Jamie, Brian's wife. They're at all the events. They're out there getting corporate sponsors. They're out there really making a dramatic impact on what Live Like Brent Foundation really is.
Yeah, and I think that it's really nice because if we ever do get those this way or that way kind of decisions, it's great because we can reach out to Karen, his mom, or we can reach out to Ryan and be like, yeah, is this the right thing to do? Like, are you cool with this? Is this are we making a big mistake here? And they can talk openly and honestly, and they're like family. They're amazing.
What an amazing thing. Like, I think about it as a parent. I have 3 young girls, and, God forbid anything were to happen to them. If one of their friends or colleagues or whatever stepped up and continuously honored their legacy, their life, their spirit for any length of time, to me is it's just an amazing sign of friendship and humanity, if nothing else. So I applaud you guys a ton for just having that relationship and the vision and the persistence to just carry this on.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I think it's it's more than that though. It's like a cheesy thing to say sometimes, but I think it is I really believe it's the greatest gift I ever had was him that day we talked about earlier, where he was like, "Do you want to help me with this thing?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah." And that decision has changed my life. I never would have guessed I would have been so engaged in a charity, and you get so much out of it, and it's those stories that come through and you're like, oh wow, this is really worth it. So yeah, it's great to be able to honor him. And it's, I would encourage anybody else who's, considering doing something philanthropic, whatever it might be, to join a cause. I think, you guys do these benefits all the time.
We do.
It makes you feel good. You get something out of it too. It's not just, one way. You get something out of it too. It makes a difference, and I would encourage everybody to find a cause.
I love it. So let's talk about Carve for Cancer, the event. It's coming up. It's in February.
Right on.
Dustin's played a few times. The one year was negative 61 degrees.
And so worth it, though. You're survived.
Yeah, he's still
His
here.
fake hair extensions were frozen to the drum kit, the whole thing.
Worth it.
So this
cause.
year, give us the date, the lineup. Tell us a little bit about the event.
Yeah, so we're back at Montage Mountain. It's going to be February 7th.
Awesome.
So it'll be another, hopefully nice cold day. But, the setup's a little bit different than it was back when you played. We have an indoor stage.
Awesome,
the lodge is pumping all day long. So whether you're a skier or snowboarder, doesn't really matter. If you're a skier or snowboarder, come buy a ticket. A portion of the lift ticket sales go to us. If you're not, just come and hang out because
so
just
much
showing
fun
up.
For everyone.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a blast, right? I mean, you got live music all day. You got raffles and giveaways. We have big sponsors that show up big time for this event. Milwaukee Tools, the presenting sponsor.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
We got Tito's involved every year. Tito's is always mixing up good drinks. We have a vendor village outside, so you can go and do some shopping, find some cool stuff. We usually have games and all sorts of stuff, competitions for skiing and snowboarding. So again, whether you're a skier or snowboarder, or you just want to come out and like hang out and support the cause, you being there is all it takes. It doesn't cost you anything. You come up, you hang out for the day, buy some food and drinks if you want. But, the majority of our money comes from our sponsors, right? So just by being there and them seeing more people, you're making a difference. And you're going to have, I guarantee you're going to have a hell of a good time because it's a blast.
And Montage Resort is a phenomenal partner.
Oh, yeah.
They've been doing it for years for us, and they basically turn over the resort to us, essentially, and all their stuff.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. They have been great partners, and they give a percentage back from that day from the mountain that comes back to Live Like Brent as well. So it's very well coordinated. This year is the 14th year.
Is it?
That's
crazy.
This
Yeah.
is the 14th year of
14,
doing it.
yeah.
Amazing.
So we've learned once again. We've learned. Last year we had a mechanical bull out in the snow.
Nice.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. But
Okay.
you know, the one thing we learned, it's kind of hard with ski boots to get onto a mechanical bull. So you know, we keep
try
growing
anything.
and building and trying
evolving.
new ideas that are
If
out
you got
there.
any ideas, let us know, guys. I mean,
I was going to
bring
say
your
the
best.
mechanical bull is a good one.
Yeah. So, but Josh touched upon the sponsors, and you know, without these sponsors, we wouldn't be existing.
Yeah.
Right? It truly is. Milwaukee Tools has been year over year presenting sponsor. They get involved in a lot of different events. Tito's is amazing as well. They are always the first ones to help out, first ones to call and say, how can we help out?
That's
And
amazing.
It's been great. Monster Energy sponsors the snowboarding competition that's at Montage. So they kind of bring their big, you know, monster truck out. They have all their swag out on the snow out there. So it's really well done. It's a fun day, as Josh said, and it's for all ages. That's the best part of it. And it's free.
Even better.
Yeah.
Love it. If you were to go back with Brent, and if you were to be able to create your dream lineup of bands, you and Brent, with zero budget,
Oh yeah.
who are the 3 bands that you're putting on that stage?
Wait, with zero budget or unlimited budget?
Unlimited budget.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Zero budgets for Matt Freedman and the Herd and Weinstein. That's the zero budget bands. If you had unlimited
Below zero budget.
you and Brent, first year out, who are you putting on the stage?
Oh man, that's such a great question. I love it. Okay, well, so Brent was big on like the jam band scene. So
Okay.
Fish is probably going to make their way
Nice.
on stage at some
Okay.
point.
And they're going to play a 24-hour set.
Yeah, they're going to play
3
one
songs.
one song.
3 days in a row. Yeah.
Fish would probably be there. Let's see who else. I mean, he liked Sublime, Slightly Stupid, like maybe some kind of like reggae ska rock band. And man, last one, he might throw like some kind of like hip hop on there too. Maybe like throw like Wu-Tang Clan in there or something.
A proper festival. Yeah.
Yeah, a proper festival.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
So who closes the show in that lineup? Who are you going with late night set?
You know what? I should ask you guys. Who's closing that one?
You have to go with Wu-Tang.
You got to go Wu-Tang, right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
It's
man.
the unpredictable, like you don't even announce it, right? And then, okay, hey guys, here comes our closer.
Yeah.
And it's
Then
Wu-Tang
Method Man
Clan.
just runs on the stage.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. That's so cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to being involved in it.
Absolutely.
I'll come up and
just
hang out, maybe take some picture and video
I'll be
of you
there.
with your frozen hair again.
So if
We're going to
someone-
make sure you play, Matt. We're going to get you on. We're going to get you a set.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Love that.
Would love to.
That'd be
Yeah,
amazing.
We'd be more than happy to.
If
man.
someone wants to, be a sponsor or donate or anything like that, where can they find the information? Where can they go?
Yeah, I think there's a whole host of ways you can get involved with our foundation. I think Jeff talked about Adopt a Hospital, so I'll start there. As if you have a business or you're a philanthropist and you have an interest in putting some money to really good use, reach out to Jeff or I. We're both Jeff at Live Like Brent, Josh at liveLikeBrent.com. Our website, liveLikeBrent.com. So that's a really big way to give back. Volunteers can reach out. We always need volunteers for the cause.
Sure.
Again, reach out through the website or email us. And then, on the corporate sponsor side, we always have these events. So if you're looking for a way to get your name out there and brand out there, our event at Montage has thousands of people that come through. So it's a good way to connect with the cause and, get your brand out there. And then, if you're just a, individual and you want to make a real impact, we have our Live Like Brent Legend Circle. Brent passed when he was 33 years old. So $33 a month makes a huge difference. Again, think about the stories we were telling.
Yeah, for sure.
That $33 a month can make a huge difference in somebody's life. And it could even make a big enough difference that we're able to open up some more hospitals and find more patients who need us. So those are a couple of the ways. Did I miss anything, Jeff? Anything you would?
No, our website has it all there.
Yeah.
So we highly recommend checking that out. And, we appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, man,
this
this was
really
fun.
helps us
Likewise.
get awareness. It's also a great way of hopefully from hearing from more people.
Yeah,
We'd really love to connect with the greater Bucks County area, to say the least. So
Amazing. And these guys don't know it yet, but in the other room, we have a check for you guys for $500 to donate
Get outta
towards the foundation. And
Oh my God! Thanks,
so
guys.
we'd
That's
love
killer.
to,
that's awesome.
it's awesome what you guys are doing, man. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's all the things that we stand for in Bucks County, telling stories, giving back to people, networking with good folks. And, you know, we just wanted to do our part to help you guys tell the story of what you're doing. So
That's
I hope
amazing.
that's
Thank you
awesome.
guys so
Thank you.
much.
I hope that's every
you
little
guys.
bit counts, I guess.
Yeah,
Right?
no, it will.
It will,
go to
and
good
we will
use.
get you that feedback loop so you can see.
Yeah,
Please
we'll let
do.
you know where it went. Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll send you some
Support.
patient stories for
Very
sure.
cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
that's it. Backstage
Yeah.
Bucks County with the folks from Live Like Brent and Carve for Cancer. Jeff and Josh, thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah.
Give you a round of
Yeah,
applause.
yeah,
Appreciate it. That's a wrap.
Party at Jeff's house.
Let's go.